This video is low quality, but at the same time, it's full of overwhelming empathy and goodness. This helicopter pilot spotted a man sweeping out of pavement and decided to help him using the power blow from his rotor blades. So I guess that worker could get home much quicker that day. Good job, Mr. Pilot, good job. Okay, now it's time to move on to the core of our program. A whole new week of fresh aviation and air sports news right here. And don't forget to like and share, it really helps the algorithm to push the program up, and subscribe to our channels as well. I'm your host, Regan Tetlow. Let's begin. Last week we showed you some results from a few tasks of the Paragliding World Cup stage in La Rioja, Argentina. But today we already have some final results and the last task report. Task 5 was the strongest and most turbulent day of the competition so far. A 73-kilometre out and return task was set going to a turn point northeast of La Rioja. It was a task which quickly separated out the pilots, with Mountain Goats, the Bolivian Allen brothers, Diego and Miguel, opting for the ridge route. Most pilots didn't need to thermal on the way back from the turn point, 47 kilometres, and they still arrived with 2,000 metres to spare. So in overall, first place goes to Francois Golnier, second to Giuliano Montanelli, and third to Gleb Sikorski. In the female category, the best pilot was Violetta Jimenez, winning with second Evelinja Belova and third Jurgen Park. We also have an overall standings for the best teams. Parapet Maiga won the trophy, earning more points than the second place Ozone team and third Jack and Jones. Congratulations to you all. The best paragliding pilots are staying in Argentina after the World Cup racing in La Rioja and moved not far away from there to LOMA, BOLA. The 17th Paragliding World Championships will colour the blue skies of Argentina once again. The event is taking place until November the 13th and is organised by Aconquela Club de Vuelo, led by Matias Fortini, and Aventura Loma Bola Parapent, headed by Sergio Bolesha. Despite all the COVID and travel difficulties, the event is full of the best pilots. 150 participants came to compete from 37 nations. However, not all countries were able to arrive in Argentina. The competition is being held close to the town of San Miguel de Tomentman in northern Argentina, 1,250 kilometers northwest of Buenos Aires. The takeoff, Loma Bola, is a mountain sports center focused primarily on paragliders for over 20 years. We'll let you know about the results as soon as possible. We already have fresh results from the one and only STOL competition. The US pilots, who love all the short takeoff and landing airplanes, compete in another round of this event, this time in Texas. This was the final round for the Husky National STOL Series in Gainesville, Texas. Steve Henry came out the overall winner of the event, as well as the overall winner for the series in his Just aircraft, Wild West aircraft Highlander, powered by a Yamaha engine. Very powerful and extremely loud. Just listen to this. In the heavy touring category, Andre Patry won flying on his Cessna 182. Steve Pierce took the gold in his Super Cup in the Bush class, and the winner in the light touring was Kenneth Monger in the Cessna 172 aircraft. Congratulations, guys. Let's stay in the world of aircraft that can land and take off in a very short distance. Actually, this machine, called the JETSON ONE, can take off like a helicopter, but can also make amazing fast runs just wherever you want to. We showed you this interesting vehicle in the last episode of Air Sports News, but now we have an opportunity to talk with the president of the JETSON company. This is Peter Sternstrom.
I've seen a lot of personal flying machines recently, but this one is really exciting. You're part of this JETSON company. Tell me a little bit about it.
We had the first prototype was ready in 2018. It was quite ugly. It looked like a flying ladder, but it had the excuse me, it had the layout Then we tested all the propellers and all the engines and all the batteries and stuff. So we used that as an ugly but very functional test bed to figure out which propellers we should use with which inclination, together with what electrical motors, motors, in order to build the formula. Now, what do we need in each corner for this thing to fly if it weighs around 90 kilos? The pilot, the person who buys it, he needs to do 50% of the assembly himself. That's important, you know? This then it becomes an experimental aircraft, and then also he can fly the aircraft without the pilot's license, but it has to be in Class G airspace, and also only and not in the night, so only VFR conditions, you know. Yeah. So that's why 80% of our customers right now, they are from the United States, and actually we haven't had a time yet, but we need to ask the questions to the Canadian FAA, because you certainly have one. Yeah. And also we have to do the same research in Europe. In Europe, the situation is really weird.
And the full-length interview with Peter talking about the JETSON ONE vehicle is now available on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. Our previous special guest, Alex Vanover, one of the most recognisable freestyle and drone racing pilots, was the winner of another heat in the Drone Racing League called FedEx Forum 2021. Take a look.
Like Sky might be creeping up on him a little bit. Let's make sure. Oh, Sky's gone! So that means Vanover all alone as Sky skimmed the ground. Here it is, the turn. Oh my God! Vanover, your winner of level 5.
The most interesting part of this stage of the season was an absolutely brilliant flight of the 13th pilots from the overall classification nicknamed Algorand, who won his first ever DRL heat and finals heat before taking second overall behind Vanover. Congratulations to all the pilots, and we're all ready waiting for more heats in the DRL series. On the 18th of August 2021, Zara Rutherford decided to become the youngest woman to fly around the world in a single-engine piston aircraft. Is she okay? Yes, she is. Let's find out where this 19-year-old pilot is right now. Most of the aviation around the world trips are scheduled eastbound, but Zara decided to go westbound all the way from Belgium to Belgium. Right now, she's jumped from Alaska to Russia, and after more than 20 days on the ground due to technical problems with the aircraft and the installation of a new fuel capacitor, she is in Ekecham City today, and tomorrow she'll follow to Kalinka. The final landing in Kortrijk in Belgium is scheduled on the 8th of December. Zara, flying a high-performance ultralight Shark aircraft, will visit 52 countries in 5 continents. What an amazing feat this is already. It's been a while since we've had a good story from the wind tunnels. My second special guests this week have been working really hard to produce a show of flying, dancing, lights and sound. Let's take a look behind the curtain of the in-air show with Zina Zafri and Mikhail Razumazov.
Zina, tell me about the in-air show. Where did the idea come from?
This idea came when I just fly on the belly few years ago, because Misha really professional in flying. Yes. And we go with him different paths, but we dream about one dream, I think. And and when we met, it was like creativity burst.
And were you from an event, from a show background before the tunnel?
No, I'm professional choreographer, and all my life I create different shows, water shows, fire shows, but I have never flown before 4 years ago.
Before 4 years, so 4 years was your first flight?
Yes.
And Misha, when did you realize you had a potential here for something magical?
Normally, I like flying and do this many years. like 10 years ago, we met with you in Singapore.
Yes.
Where the first World Championship on the tunnel. And I'm start creating the interesting routine with my students and with the kids. And when we meet with Xenia, I see her, you know, like inspiration for creativity, and I think, okay, maybe it's gonna be good, how to say, collaboration, and we can organize the great event, and we can show for everyone our ideas.
And the whole chat with Zina and Mikhail is online right now on our YouTube channel. We have confirmation that from the 17th to the 19th of March 2022, the largest event in this part of Europe for parachutists and skydivers will be held in Warsaw. It will be 3 days full of presentations, discussion panels and workshops, and the aim is to increase the level of safety in skydiving and to provide a solid dose of knowledge about various disciplines of this sport. Special guest of this event will be Bill Booth. He's an engineer and owner of the United Parachute Technologies company, as well as the inventor of such elements of parachuting equipment as the 3-ring release system and the reserve static line. So how to illustrate the differences in flight dynamics between speed wings and mini wings? Not everyone even knows there is some kind of difference between the wing shapes and the characteristics of the speed flying disciplines. Although people often think smaller is better. But is it really true? Speed Flying manufacturer prepared a beautiful video showing the main differences of how mini wings and speed wings behave on downhill flights. Let's take a look. Jamie, called Captain Manicorn, and his wife Sandra are a daring duo who are attempting to set a never before attempted world record by being the first man and woman to skydive and paraglide in every country of the world. And thankfully, they're recording this attempt in a very professional way. They share their triumphs and challenges with viewers as they travel often to far-flung places in a one-of-a-kind converted camper van with their 2 dogs, and after the COVID-19 virus forced them to shut down their successful events business, this idea is so amazing and challenging that everyone can donate to it, taking details from the Captain Manicorn YouTube channel. Okay guys, it's about time to see what's new in our Hall of Fame section. On the 29th of October 1998, Senator John Herschel Glenn Jr., the first American to orbit the Earth, returned to space as a member of the Discovery STS-95 crew. At the age of 77, John Glenn was the oldest human to fly into space. The STS-95 mission elapsed time was 8 days, 21 hours, 44 minutes and 2 seconds. On the 30th of October 1909, John Babazwazwan won a £1,000 prize sponsored by the Daily Mail when he flew his short biplane number 2 on a circular flight of 1 mile. It was a prize offered to any aviator covering in a heavier than air machine the greatest total distance across country, either in England or in France, officially recorded by either the French or the English aero clubs. On the 2nd of November 1947, Howard Hughes' H-4 Hercules flying boat made its first and only flight at the harbour of Los Angeles, California. The new media called it the Spruce Goose due to its strong but lightweight wooden construction. On its only flight, the H4 travelled approximately 1 mile at 135 miles per hour, remaining in ground effect. It never flew again, and its estimated performance was never verified through flight testing. On the 2nd of November 1922, the first scheduled airline passenger to fly aboard the Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services Limited was Alexandra Kennedy. The pilot was Hudson Fish. The trip was from Longreach, Cloncurry, Queensland, Australia, on board the FK-8 biplane. The airplane was later sold to Qantas on the 5th of September 1922. The airplane was damaged beyond economic repair in a forced landing near Blackall, Queensland. That's it for this week, guys. Please, if you like our program and want it to continue providing you the best aviation content every week, like us, share and subscribe. I'm leaving you with some really cool content from the Danish sailplane pilot Dan Minnick, who made some lovely flights a few days ago, touching the bottom of the clouds over Denmark. And I'll see you back here again next week. But don't forget to stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies.